and spread to 16 other towns in the Boland region. The violent strike has claimed its first casualty, a 28-year-old farm worker, Michael Daniels, from Wolseley in the Boland. For the latest developments, then, we're on the line to our reporter in the Dedorans area, Chris Mabuya. Chris, good morning. Please tell us what is happening this morning.
The situation in the area remains tense, especially around the Stoffland informal settlement, where the majority of the striking seasonal workers, estimated at 8,000, comes from. They've refused to return to work this morning. Instead, they've blockaded the NY highway along the informal settlement with stones and big drums, and they were also at one stage digging holes on the same highway. Their area, the same informal settlement, they've turned it into a no-go area for everyone, including the police. The police are actually keeping an eye at the activities at a distance. And then there's also a farm store that sells fruits along the NY highway that has also been satellite. This is the group that has already voiced their objection to the decision to suspend the strike for 2 weeks as early as yesterday. The police were forced to use a tear gas when the group, especially immediately after the announcement that the strike will be postponed for at least 2 weeks, to give time to a committee that is expected to be formed to look into the issue of their demand of 150 rand per day. But the workers indicated as early as yesterday that they're not prepared to go back to work and work for 80 rand per day.
Just on the whole, though, there's no sign of any worker going back to work as expected this morning.
There is no sign, Tolani. On a normal day, there are a lot of big trucks, taxis, and also buses that on a normal day normally picks the seasonal workers very close to the informal settlement, under the bridge or maybe on top of the bridge, which is the road that is linking the informal settlement and the town of Dedorans. But all those trucks, taxis and buses have returned already empty, because on a normal day, the seasonal workers starts as early as 7.
And are there demonstrations happening right now? And can you give us an idea of the numbers of people that are involved in those kind of demonstrations, if at all?
They're demonstrating, they're demonstrating in different groups. There are those that are demonstrating under the bridge, which is the road that's linking the Stoffland informal settlement and the town. And then there are those that are protesting on top of the road, on top of the bridge, and they're also burning tires. But there are also those that are protesting quite nearer to the town, which is the road that is linking now the highway and the town of Dedorans, making it almost difficult, because there are those that even yesterday they have voiced their willingness to go back to work today, but the way they've organized their protests, it makes it difficult even to those that have decided to go back to work today to do so.
Final question. There were running battles between the protesters and the police yesterday. Tell me about the policing of these demonstrations at the moment.
The police are actually keeping an eye at a distance so far, Tolani. They've tried at one side of the road to try and remove some of the stones, but the protesters have gone back again and put them back again. But what the police are actually doing, they're driving around the area. There are no classes. Since this morning, I haven't witnessed any clashes or any situation like yesterday, where the police were forced to use a tear gas to disperse the crowd. They're still protesting under the bridge, and then they actually they've organized themselves in different groups around all the streets that are linking the informal settlement and the town, making it difficult for those who want to go to go back to work today to do so.
Chris Mabuya monitoring the situation there for us. Let's turn now to the Western Cape Premier. Helen Zille was on the line for us this morning. Madam Premier, good morning. What to do now?
Good morning, Kolani. What to do now is to continue what we have been doing. I've been trying to get hold of President Zuma to no avail. He's just sent me a reply saying my letter is receiving attention or will be brought to the President's attention, or words to that effect. But I just wanted to say a few things about the latest, because obviously I'm getting situational updates all the time.
Yeah.
And I have a very broad perspective of what's happening in different parts. Now, in the Durham, there is a specific dynamic going on. The permanent workers are mostly back at work. They all want to work, and many of the temporary seasonal workers also want to work. But as Chris Mabuya said, Stoffland can easily be surrounded and isolated from any other place. That the roads can be blocked, which is now what's happening. Now, the starting point of the strikes in the Durhams was actually the seasonal workers who can no longer get work. And that is the reason for that is that they come from Lesotho, and many of them don't have papers to work. They came down every year to work on the farms, often did get work, often stayed, some for as long as 5 years to get seasonal work every year. But this time, farmers are getting fined so heavily. One farmer got fined 150,000 rand for employing workers from Lesotho without the requisite papers, that the farmers are not employing them anymore. And it was those very angry workers who are feeling marginalized, who don't have the papers to work, where all of this anger started from and where the N1 got blocked off. This was really emphasized and exacerbated by the fact that the Zimbabwe workers, through the recent amnesty, are allowed to work. And so the Lesotho workers are feeling very, very marginalized and very angry, and they have been at the forefront of the major protests in the Durhams. So that is really one of the issues that has been lost sight of in this demand that was really piggybacked onto this for 150 rand a day. Now, the National Minister of Labour, Mildred Oliphant, is out of the country at the moment. I wish she would return, because she is the person who has to deal with this kind of thing, and I wish Jacob Zuma would simply respond to the issues we've raised. I've asked him to get her focusing on the sexual determination, and I've also asked him to send in the army, because the police are far too stretched at the moment.
And I've just seen a response in one of the newspapers from the Office of the President, wherein they are saying, well, all you need to do is really just to go to the Minister of Military Affairs, Minister Pisa Ngagula, and talk to her about this, because the President allowed the deployment of troops until January, of course, in response to Marikana, but clearly you can use that kind of permission.
Well, the only person who can give that instruction is the President. So when I ask him to go back to me and say I must ask his Minister of Defence is disingenuous, I don't give instructions to the Minister of Defence. He does.
All right. So you're expecting the President to respond directly to you?
Well, I wish he would get round to answering me in the middle of a crisis such as this.
There also are reports this morning about an SMS that you sent to the ANC provincial leader, Marius Fransman, in which you were saying we are headed towards anarchy.
Yes.
Tell us about that view.
Well, let me say this, that yesterday was complete anarchy in Ceres, in Wolseley, in parts of Wellington, this morning again in the Durhams, complete anarchy. Small groups of people roving between venues, setting alight to everything that they could. Fruit crates, store packs, extremely expensive farming equipment, crates of fruit ready for export, millions and millions of rands worth of damage going down. It was real anarchy in certain places, especially in the Ceres area, with many, many places burning simultaneously. I had tried repeatedly to call Marius Fransman, and his phone went to voicemail immediately. Eventually, I had to resort to an SMS, because there was no other way that I could get hold of him. And I was saying we must not politic on this issue, because he, as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, has no role to play in this other than as a politician who leads the ANC in the Western Cape. And that's his capacity for intervention, which has been very unhelpful and has been stoking the flames. And I've been seeking to get us to tone down that type of rhetoric and work together to solve this crisis, because if he thinks he's going to get any benefit from this, he is very wrong. The National Minister sets the national minimum wage. She is an ANC minister, and to mobilize in the Western Cape against the national minimum wage will be saddling a tiger from which the ANC cannot alight.
All right, Western Cape Premier Helen Zille, thank you for your time. 20 minutes after 7.
Hi, this is Nathaniel. I hold the welfare of children very close to my heart, and I'm asking your help in spreading festive joy to our country's needy children. Donate any toy, old or new, by placing it in the Toy for Toy trolley at any Checkers or ShopRite store. If you donate a new toy that